This is a Yugo. It was a tiny hatchback imported from Yugoslavia in the late 1980s and early 1990s. And it wasn't very good. In fact, it was quite bad. The Yugo came to America in 1986 thanks to Malcolm Bricklin, who brought us the Bricklin SV1 and, more famously, Subaru. In the 80s, he decided that America needed an entry-level, low-priced car. And so he started importing the Yugo from Yugoslavia. Priced at under $4,000, that's about $8,700 in today's money, for a new car. The Yugo slotted somewhere in the automotive lineup between a normal car and a bus pass. And you'll find a lot of people who will tell you that the bus pass was actually a better decision since it was cheaper, cleaner, and often more reliable. Today, I'm going to show you around the Yugo, and I'm going to show you why it was considered to be so bad. And as I do, I want you to keep in mind two things. Number one, in 1992, the EPA forced Yugo to recall every single car they made because it polluted too much. And number two, this car isn't some relic from the 60s or 70s. This car came out in the late 80s and was sold through the early 90s. It was on sale at the same time as the Porsche 959, the Acura NSX, the Ferrari F40. And with those things in mind, our tour begins. Open the door to the Yugo and you'll quickly find that the interior is rather basic. For example, look across the entire dashboard and you'll only find 2 climate control vents. Now this is the base level GV model, which stood for great value, and it came with these 5 switches, but not these 2. There's no automatic climate control in this thing, just 3 levers. In-cabin storage, there's no glove box, although there is a nice tray, and the molded piece of plastic in the center includes some little storage area. The radio continues the basic theme. Cassette player, yes. Presets, no. The front seatbelt latches are fastened to the floor with one giant visible bolt. Speaking of exposed items, check out these wires going into the door. Behind the center controls, more wires. Now, to get in back, you don't just pull the seat back forward. Instead, the entire seat lifts forward. Under the hood, you'll find the mighty 40 horsepower carbureted 1.1 liter 4-cylinder and the spare tire, which looks larger than the engine. There are also a few odd touches. Here are the door locks and the steering column stalks. Those are the windshield wipers. These are the turn signals, and these are the brights. The car requires 3 keys just to operate it. This one is for the doors, this one for the gas cap, and this one for the ignition. And look, an original Yugo key. You'll notice the turn signals and brake lights don't include any reverse lights. Those were mounted under the rear bumper. There is a rear view mirror on the driver's side, but not on the passenger side. Now, because the Yugo is a 30-year-old car, like all 30-year-old cars, a lot of stuff doesn't work. But the difference between the Yugo and a normal 30-year-old car is you can't really find parts to replace a lot of the stuff that breaks on this one. And so the speedometer doesn't work, the odometer doesn't work, the interior driver's door handle doesn't work, the horn doesn't work, the interior blinker lights work half the time, although the exteriors do, the fuel gauge doesn't work, the front windshield washer sprayer doesn't work. The seats are hard to move backwards and forwards. Even the ashtray doesn't work. Interestingly, the interior dome light does work, although if you just tap the switch, it turns on and off. Okay, so now you've seen everything that makes the Yugo, except for my thoughts on the driving experience. Now, for more of my thoughts on that, click the link below to check out my column on autotrader.com/oversteer. Or keep watching because it's time to take it on the road. Now, before we do that, this is Austin. He owns this Yugo, and he's going to tell us a little bit about it. Starting with the most obvious question, what possessed you to purchase this vehicle?
Well, I've always liked really weird cars.
And this is weird.
Indeed it is. It's I like the looks I get driving it.
So how much does a Yugo cost?
All right, so a running Yugo like this one cost about, $1,000. And then a not running Yugo I use for parts, I got it for $200 and I traded a 22 for it.
So you picked this one up for $1,000. That's one Yugo.
Yep.
The second Yugo, $200 and a 22. Yep. I got you. Okay. Yep. I should mention Austin doesn't live in the city.
Yeah.
So you're on high-speed kind of country roads.
Yeah.
Do people pass you all the time? Is it drivable?
No, I actually overtaken this. You know, going up hills, obviously not, but, you know, I'll hit, keep in mind the speedometer doesn't work.
Right.
But I hit about, you know, 80 in it. And
You can do 80.
I can do 80.
Do you
Yeah.
feel safe doing 80?
Not even slightly.
Do people on the street, when they see it, do they know what it is?
Yeah, pretty much every stoplight I go up to, somebody will roll down their window and say, "Is that a Yugo?
Right.
I haven't seen one of those since, what, 92?
Right, right.
How is it still running?"
Does anybody ever tell you, oh, you had one of those back when it was new?
Yeah, I'll have people say, "Yeah, my friend had, you know, 2 Yugos. They lasted, you know, a whole, you know, 3 months each."
How long have you had it?
About 6 months.
6 months. And how many miles have you put on it since then?
I'd say around 1,000.
1,000 miles. And has it had any problems?
One blown tire,
Blown tire.
and that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Thing has been dead reliable 6 months, 1,000
Yep.
miles. All right, we're going into winter here. You starting to get a little worried that?
Yes, I am. It doesn't crank well in the cold.
And with those hearty words of confidence, it was time to get the Yugo out on the road.
Surprisingly smooth.
Yeah.
It's a smooth little start. No way that's in gear.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, this is neutral. This is first. Okay, you ready? Let's do this. Woohoo! I'm driving the Yugo. This is so exciting. The turn signal and the brights are on the same side, and the brights are actually longer.
Yeah.
So you end up kind of reaching for the brights. I am on the floor in the correct gear.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, you can do this, buddy. You got this. What is that noise?
It started like 2 days ago, and it's just,
We're just, it doesn't matter, whatever.
no, I just ignore it. When you hit this, watch what happens.
Okay. Oh, we're losing momentum. I think we're losing speed, don't you?
Yeah, we're
Definitely losing speed. We're going up a hill right now, and oh man, we're definitely losing speed. Like, are we gonna get to the top of this? Am I gonna have to downshift?
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, that's not gear. The problem is there's no tach or speedometer. Oh, that's neutral still. Why are we on hills? This is terrible. This guy's gonna hate us. The thing is, if he knows Yugo, he's like, oh.
He's like, it's
yeah,
a Yugo.
I get it. No problem. There's nothing scarier in this car than seeing a speed limit 55 sign and then an uphill right afterwards. That's like, you're just screwed. I mean, then the first thing you do when that happens is you look in the rearview mirror. The steering is quite vague. Quite vague. I mean, there's a lot of on-center play. There's about a 2-inch movement here when we're not really doing anything. Oh, that is the body roll of the decade through there. God, the body roll. Even just these light turns, it's like just swaths from side to side. It's not what you want in a hatchback that's got to be only 135 inches long. Also, the brakes could be better. The thing that's scary also to me about this car is I know how small it is, and we know how poorly it was built.
Yeah.
And so, around here, it's all pickups. And so I'm thinking to myself, any one of these crosses the center line, that's it.
We're done.
They're going to bring out the dental record identifier people. That's going to be the end of it.
It was a whole lot louder. The previous owners drilled holes in the exhaust.
To get like a better sound?
Yes. And it was terribly loud and it sounded like crap.
What'd you do?
I used muffler pads and duct tape.
That's what we call a Yugo modification. I think
Yes.
you don't want to spend too much money. It's a little unfair to the Yugo though to judge it based on modern standards.
Yeah.
But
Even at the standards of when it was made.
it was very good.
Yeah.
You gotta be smiling every time you drive this car though, right?
Every time.
Because it's so interesting. I mean, this is the most interesting. There's no way to spend $1,000 and get a more ridiculous, weird, interesting automobile than